Hello and welcome to Truth versus Hype. Protests have erupted across India against the centre's new rules forbidding the sale of cattle for slaughter at cattle markets. It's being seen as a backdoor way of enforcing a national ban on beef, long on the RSS agenda. Now, the rationale for enforcing this ban has shifted constantly. On paper, it's meant to be on the basis of animal cruelty. Then it's about illegal trafficking. Then it's about illegal slaughterhouses. And then finally, from one BJP leader, the real reason came out.
इस देश के बहुसंख्यक लोगों में गाय के प्रति श्रद्धा है और जब जनभावना का इस देश के अंदर सम्मान होना चाहिए.
Now, that's the whole idea, that when it comes to the cow, the government and indeed the RSS BJP are not keen to ground the debate in the realm of facts. The idea is to whip up a hysterical pitch that the cow is under threat and that the ever stronger laws being passed by the BJP and the very strong language used by its leaders are all proof of how determined they are to save the Gaumata. Listen to this Gujarat minister explaining why the state, despite having a steadily growing cow population and already existing tough cow protection laws, made these laws even tougher.
हमारी कटिबद्धता थी भारतीय संस्कृति के प्रतीक सभी गाय और गौवंश को बचाने की, इसलिए हमने स्ट्रॉन्ग विल पावर से ये निर्णय लिया.
Ask them for proof of whether the cow is under threat. Is there large-scale trafficking? And this is the kind of answer that you will get.
I do not have the exact number of instances, but all I am saying that the cattle, the large number of cattle, the number is not relevant.
We can't be vague about these things. Sorry, Syed Zafar Islam. At least on this show, you can't be vague about facts. It's not acceptable to come and say, I don't have the facts, and just say that we all know that it happens at a large scale.
No, I'm not saying the fact. I'm saying that exact number.
What's the
number? Number of cattle is not relevant. Fact that, no, exact number is not relevant.
Now, it's no one's case that illegal trafficking with the intent to slaughter doesn't take place in India. Animal rights groups, who tend to be more reliable than Gauraksha outfits, have documented multiple instances of this. But surely, if the government is going to enforce a nationwide ban on the sale of cattle in markets, it needs to ground the decision not in anecdotal evidence, but in facts. So we set out to try and dig out whatever facts we could on the extent of illegal trafficking and slaughter in India. Official data we're talking about. Let's start with this latest ban, which the centre says was based on a Supreme Court order which asked the government to take steps to prevent illegal trafficking of cattle along two borders, Nepal and Bangladesh. Now, the BSF, which protects the Bangladesh border, has been maintaining annual records of cattle seized, which it submitted to the court. Between 2012 and 2016, an average of 1.5 lakh cattle was seized by the BSF along the Bangladesh border every year. Now, to put it in context, India's cattle population, as per the last animal census, was 19 crores, which means the annual number of cattle seized by the BSF is only 0.07% of our cattle population. When it comes to buffaloes, in this case, there are no figures for seizures, but the government gave the SC estimates for how many buffaloes were slaughtered at a temple festival in Nepal. In 2009, 35,000 buffaloes were reportedly sacrificed, which is 0.032% of the total buffalo population. In 2014, the government number falls by 7 times to about 5,000, which is 0.005% of the buffalo population. So in effect, a 100% ban nationwide on the basis of seizures amounting to less than 1% or even less than that of India's cattle and buffalo population. Even if you extrapolate from these seizures, does it justify this scale of the ban? My colleague Manas Pratap Singh tried to ask India's Animal Welfare Board under the Environment Ministry, which is the nodal body which played an important advisory role in the process of this notification that led to the ban, to ask them, did they have a number for the national scale of the problem?
The Animal Welfare Board of India comes under the Ministry of Environment. It's an advisory body that forms laws for animal welfare. It's one of those crucial bodies that played a role in forming the cattle ban rule. I spoke to one of the serving members of the board of this particular organization to ask him if there existed a data on cattle slaughter, cow slaughter or trafficking. He told me that there's no such data, and I quote that how can there be a data on cow slaughtering when it is illegal?
Earlier, I spoke to NG Jayasimha, an animal rights activist based in Hyderabad and a former member of the same Animal Welfare Board. His term ended earlier this year. He was fairly candid about the lack of data that the government has in its possession.
On the numbers, to be honest, and I think this is something that we've told to the government of India many times, that once you know the numbers, you are able to address a problem and solve a problem. They keep putting out these confiscation numbers and ask us to extrapolate from it, saying that the confiscation is just a tip of the iceberg. So I believe just in the year 2016, over 160,000 animals were confiscated by BSFs and other border security force in Nepal as well as the Bangladesh border. They also throw out figures like over 300 personnel were injured in these kind of exercise. Couple of BSL personnel died, roughly around 100 traffickers were killed in this exercise. But these are just numbers that the law enforcement puts out. But sadly, there isn't a number of there isn't even a real number of buffaloes in this country and stuff like that.
The fact is, there's no survey and the government has acted without one. So we tried our own attempt to gather figures state-wise. We reached out to state governments of the major states where cow slaughter is illegal. We had our team making calls to state home and animal husbandry departments. We filed RTIs. We had our bureaus try and dig for numbers. Believe me, it was no easy job. Let's start with the states from where we could get some data, starting with Rajasthan. Now, ironically, the brutal murder of Pehlu Khan for transporting cattle prompted the Rajasthan Home Department into collecting data, not for attacks by cow vigilantes, but for cow smuggling. This is what they told us, that in the past 7 years, from 2009 to 2016, 6,500 persons have been arrested in over 3,000 registered cases of cow smuggling in the state. However, only 40 persons, which is 0.6%, were convicted. 59 were acquitted. Coming to Gujarat now, there was no luck despite our repeated attempts to contact the state government. My colleague Sonal Matharu, who is here with me, has filed a multiple number of RTIs with many of these state governments. Was there any luck at all with the response from Gujarat?
No, Vasu. From Gujarat, we actually just found one RTI response which transferred, the Home Department transferred this letter to the DG and the IGP.
Okay.
And from those two departments, we've received no further information.
Okay, so it was simply just passing the buck, nobody had any information at all.
Yeah, within the department.
Okay, which I suspect was the case with a lot of the other RTIs you filed. But at the same time, there was this Indian Express article of April this year, which said that since 2011, which is the last time that the Gujarat brought in tougher cow protection laws, there's been only one conviction in hundreds of cases registered across Gujarat for alleged violations. This is an Indian Express article. Moving on to Haryana now, another state which has made so much about Gau Raksha and cow protection. They were able to give us some figures, but only going back to 2014. Now, according to them, since then there have been 1,683 cases registered, 2,162 arrests, and about 5,800 cows recovered. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that the number of cows recovered is a very small fraction of Haryana's cow population of 18 lakhs.
According to data from the Haryana Cow Protection Task Force, there were 1,683 cases registered between 2014 to 2016, of which 5,895 cows have been recovered. But of the 2,162 arrests made, only 116 have been convicted so far, with 0 and 1 convictions respectively in 2015 and 2016.
Okay, so from Punjab, another state where we couldn't get very much at all, I think, Sonal, again, you filed an RTI. What did it say?
That's right. The RTI from Punjab actually said that the data is collected at several departments and they don't collect this data at the Home Department level.
Okay.
So they can neither provide this data to us, nor can they actually transfer our application to various departments. So no luck in Punjab as well.
No luck in Punjab as well. Now, Madhya Pradesh, again a state where the information was hard to get by. Our correspondent Anurag Dwari made a very, very sincere effort, and this was the result.
To look for the data on how many cows were illegally slaughtered, trafficked in Madhya Pradesh, how many cases were registered, we tried contacting Home Minister Bhupendra Singh without luck. We contacted Animal Husbandry Minister Antar Singh Arya, who did not have the figures. He said he can respond next week. The Principal Secretary of his department, Mr. Rai, said we can get the data from Director Animal Husbandry, Mr. Rokde. But when we called Mr. Rokde, he said he can only help us with the number of cattle sheds and cows, nothing else.
Maharashtra, another state which has passed recently tough anti-cow slaughter laws, again proved to be hard when it came to getting the data. Finally, this is all we could extract, that since the new law was passed in 2015 and till the end of 2016, just over 1,000 cases have been registered under the new law for the illegal transportation of cattle. And remember, as my colleague Ankita points out, that these are still cases which are under trial. It's not actually been established that this was transportation for slaughter.
We're still awaiting details on how many arrests made and how many cattle seized. As for the crucial question, what is the proof that these cattle were being illegally taken for slaughter? The police say that the transporters did not have adequate document. And this argument will now be tested in court.
Coming to Uttar Pradesh, again the government wasn't able to provide very much in terms of comprehensive data, only going back to a year from the start of 2016 to just about now. In that period, we were told that about 4,300 cases have been registered under Uttar Pradesh's cow protection laws, but these include seizures of buffaloes as well, the slaughter of which is legal in Uttar Pradesh. So the total cattle seized figure includes cows and buffaloes, which comes to about 44,000. And once again, if you compare that to the total population of Uttar Pradesh, cows and buffaloes, it will amount to a very, very minuscule figure, with again the rider that these are cases that are under trial. So we don't have an accurate figure for conviction to be able to tell you how much of this is actually illegal trafficking for slaughter.